Oops. Good morning to those born today, January 28th. What's up to those who woke up with me on January 28th? And my condolences to those who did not wake up. It's your boy Doug, 60 Gang. I'm out here in Douglasville fixing a Maytag dishwasher, putting a door lock in for my man Robert of 60 Gang. His door latch broke on the dishwasher where he couldn't open the door, so we took care of him. I'm kind of ahead of myself, so heading home to see who needs me. I'm riding with me. Douglasville to Loganville. Riding with your boy. This is a nice neighborhood too. And the one across the street, that's some massive houses. I might just go over there and let y'all get a look-see how massive these houses are. Turn that off. Tomorrow we'll be downtown Atlanta visiting Michael Budd. He's got an apartment complex down there. Go down there and check him out. No.
Let's get started. It's an alert. Shots fired across the border between cartels and law enforcement. And if you have a problem with the Trump administration's hardline immigration policies, border czar Tom Homan has a message.
Only people are getting attacked.
We got 500,000 children who are sex trafficked into this country. Where's the tears for them?
All right. Meanwhile, after a humdinger of a stock market sell-off, all after a Chinese AI company turned Wall Street upside down.
Release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win.
Plus, Doge is already at work. We'll tell you how it's cutting spending.
Fox and Friends starts right now. All right, buckle up. Fox News alert. Shocking drone video shows suspected Mexican cartel members aiming rifles at Border Patrol drone after opening up fire on agents on the U.S. side of the border.
That cross-border violence happening as new daily crossing numbers show the Trump administration's crackdown is already working.
Brooke Singman has summarized it all and joins us with this report this morning. Brooke.
Wow.
Good morning, guys. That's right. So new video being released by Texas DPS Lieutenant Chris Olivares on X last night. This footage taken after suspected Mexican cartel members trading gunfire with U.S. Border Patrol agents near Fronton, Texas Monday afternoon as a group of migrants tried to enter the country illegally. That's according to law enforcement sources. No injuries were reported, and the new administration's border crackdown is already showing results. On Monday, ICE made nearly 1,200 arrests and lodged another 853 ICE detainers. And in Denver yesterday, DEA agents finding and removing 134,000 fentanyl pills off the streets, while also arresting 2 illegal immigrants with suspected cartel ties. And President Trump's enforcement surge at the border leading to a dramatic drop in migrant encounters. Multiple sources telling our Bill Malugin that Border Patrol reported only 582 illegal crossings at the southern border on Sunday, with not a single one of the 9 sectors breaking 200. That is in sharp contrast to the 1,200 to 1,400 daily average in former President Biden's final week of office, or the some 11,000 plus back in 2023. Meanwhile, new DHS Secretary Kristi Noem will address her staff for the very first time this afternoon. She'll deliver her vision for the agency that will be key in delivering President Trump's immigration crackdown. Guys.
All right, Brooke, thank you very much. This is the most telegraphed move by any administration in the history of our country. First thing I'm going to do is crack down on the border. Even Donald Trump mentioned yesterday. What everybody, when people are talking about all the things I'm going to do, the thing that people are most excited about was when he talked about crushing the border, getting it back to security, and they're hitting on so many different levels now. Steve, yesterday we talked about 700 people coming across. So who's those 700? Well, we're down to 500 now. Yeah. So this is getting extremely This is the message being sent all over. They pride themselves on knowing Americans, American politics better than Americans. That's why they flooded the border with their Biden T-shirts 4 years ago. This is why they're running the other way now.
It's crazy.
Go ahead, Anson.
Thank you, Lawrence. It's crazy that in December of 2023, which was the highest point of crossings, that they were seeing 4,000 a day at the Del Rio sector.
Just one sector.
And exactly. And this day that it was recorded, when was that? Sunday? Only 60. So we went from 4,000 at the height under Joe Biden to 60, only 60 under Donald Trump.
But there's a full surge at the border when it comes to resources. You got the military that are there. And by the way, the rifles that they have at one point, they did not have bullets in them. They have bullets in them now.
Right.
Helicopters are there. The drones as well is there. And
I didn't know that about bullets. What do you mean?
100%. They're armed now. They're armed. It used to be just a show of force, meaning those National Guardsmen really didn't have bullets in those rifles. It was always made fun of that this was more of a deterrence mechanism. Because of this administration now, it was the same way back when Trump was the first time. They're armed and they're ready to go.
They are. And it's just refreshing to see, okay, the cartels are going to shoot at us. We're going to return fire. That's something new. There is no doubt everybody is paying attention to what is going on our southern border. And if you are paying a cartel these days to come in, you might as well just light your money on fire because you're not going to make it. Selena Gomez, the famous actress who is in Only Murders in the Building, Recording Star and stuff like that, she has deep roots to Texas. She put out on her Instagram story yesterday her emotions, and she is very emotional about what is going on our southern border. It has made a lot of headlines. She has since deleted her reel. Embarrassment.
ICE's top guy, Tom Homan, saw it and responded, so we put them together. So you see Selena and then Tom talk about what's going on down south.
Only people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
We got a 250,000 Americans dead from fentanyl across that open border. Where's the tears for them? I've met with hundreds of Angels moms and dads who were separated from their children because they buried them because they were killed by illegal alien. We got 500,000 children who are sex trafficked into this country, separated from their families, put in the hands of criminal cartels to be smuggled into the country. This administration can't find over 300,000. Where's the tears for them?
I just commend Tom Homan for staying out front, because he knows part of the things they got to do is not only do what they're supposed to do, but message to the American public. No secrets. There's the military plane. Here's the roundup. Who's doing it? ICE, ATF. Where are they doing it? We're going to tell you ahead of time. You want to bring a reporter with you? You can do it. Bill Malusian's on the scene. Dr. Phil the next day. He's coming to New York today. In force, multifaceted. And you want to talk to me about it? I'll do it. He was on with Caitlin Collins last night on CNN, and all of a sudden, it's so funny. People are talking about how expensive it is. Oh, the military planes are more expensive than private jets. Really? Now you're worried about money? You're worried about this is security? But if you're really that concerned, maybe you could do some more price comparisons. I think it's a non-issue. I just commend them for an understanding that optics matter. They're also following the planes to Guatemala and Colombia to see what happens once they get on the ground. But again, they're on the ground, they're out. And then some of them said they're coming right back.
Look, J.D. Vance, he had the same defense when he was interviewed on the Sunday shows. He said, stop focusing on these children, focus on the crime that they're bringing into America. Brooke was talking about our borders, and in the Denver area, 130,000 fentanyl pills were seized along with other drugs like cocaine and meth and heroin. How many lives did that save by them taking those pills off of the streets? And I feel sorry for Selena when she's crying, because she's been very public about her bipolar disorder. And I thought when I saw that, I bet her publicist called and said, take this down, or her parents called, or someone called and said, you need to take this down. But she needs to focus and hear the stories about the people that we interview, the angel moms and dads, as Tom was saying, who have lost their kids, had to bury their kids because someone came across our country illegally. How many car accidents have we reported on where an illegal driver kills a baby, kills, she want to worry about the children, kills a family. Those are the stories that Donald Trump is hearing and wants to focus on.
There's two parts to this, and I'm glad, Ainsley, you mentioned. I did not know that she struggled with a disorder.
It was a special.
Immediately when I saw that, I said, that's not normal to just post a phone up and start crying in front of it. People just don't do that on a day-to-day basis. But praying for her when it comes to the mental, things that she's going through. The second part of this is that she's being fed, like many Americans, a lot of propaganda about what's going on. ICE is not going out there, just going to every community, asking every immigrant, illegal migrant for their papers. That's not what's happening. These are targeted operations. These are people that have overstayed their visas. These are people that have final deportation orders. And I also think about the Nungari family, who are Mexican Americans that I interviewed. They're immigrants. They love their people. They love America as well. But an illegal came over the border, raped their daughter, and then tried to drown her to hide the evidence. What about a video crying about that family?
Well, maybe Selena Gomez doesn't know the other side of the story.
Of course.
And a lot of people don't know the other side. And that's one of the reasons you need to, look around and get all your news from various things so you can put together a big picture. But for her to put that out, she's got 422 million followers.
Absolutely.
And so 500 million people saw that message before she took it down. But that's why it was so good for Tom Homan to go out and direct it.
That's right.
But the other big story was happening yesterday with China. When it came out with Deep 6 V3 the day after Christmas, people in the AI community said, wait a second, I think they caught us. What happened yesterday shows they're ahead of us.
So what happened yesterday? This Chinese AI company called DeepSeek, it launched a week ago. It is now number one. It's the number one downloaded on the App Store because they're hailing it as better, cheaper, more efficient than ChatGPT. And it's owned by the Chinese. And the Chinese company only spent, they say, $5.6 million because they're using chips that are less expensive.
Yeah, the company says it is 20 to 50 times cheaper than OpenAI. And that's why the cover of the New York Post says, look, a red alert. And it talks a little bit, it mentioned this is Chinese AI's Sputnik moment. Essentially, what they put out in the last week when they announced it is, hey, United States, you've been doing AI with the really expensive NVIDIA chips. We can do it so much cheaper. And that's why there was a gigantic sell-off. NVIDIA lost something like $1 trillion or $750 billion. They are still worth $3 trillion. But nonetheless, this is something that President Trump did talk about last night down at Doral and said, okay, they might be ahead of us if true, but we can catch them. Watch.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that. They said you have the most brilliant scientists in the world in Seattle and various places, but Silicon Valley, they said, there's nobody like those people. This is very unusual when you hear a DeepSeek, when you hear somebody come up with something. We always have the ideas, we're always first. So I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with hopefully the same solution. Under the Trump administration, we're going to unleash our tech companies and we're going to dominate the future like never before.
Brian, as you know, the Chinese have a reputation of stealing technology and making it better. And so the question I think that is out there, are we going to be laser focused on beating them and putting restrictions in place so they don't steal the technology? The problem is they got a large market. We make everything there and we're at a disadvantage.
Well, a couple of things. The way I understand it, Kurt Knudsen's going to be out here shortly, is that all our technology is open. So as we make advances in
Open
AI,
source.
chatbot, and Google and Microsoft,
just grab it.
So everyone's competing, but it's all out there. It's like, okay, this is what we did, this is what we have, this is what we did, this is what we have. So China goes, okay, I can make it better. So they're not starting from zero, and we're not hiding our stuff. And a lot of people say that's a mistake. We should just be working on our own lanes, and then see where chatbot compete with Microsoft, compete with the world. But that fact that we're keeping it open says, okay, This is a Sputnik moment, says Mark Andreessen, who's with David Sachs's AI group with the government. So he said, I think they're looking at this as Trump is.
6 million versus what, 500 billion?
Well, it all comes down to the chips. Here in the United States, we use the really advanced NVIDIA chips.
Yep.
And that's why Joe Biden restricted their flow into China. But for China suddenly to say, hey, we didn't need your stinking chips. We got our own cheaper
They've
chips.
been building it for a
that
while.
has just been an earthquake, if true.
But so you doubt the validity of it. You doubt the validity of whether this is that good?
I'm saying the timing is interesting. You know, I think part of it is to make the new incoming Trump administration look at that. Hey, don't forget China.
But I think it helps sell their story, and it helps David Sachs's group and Joe Lonsdale and all these guys say, look, there's an urgency here. Take the guardrails off. Let me compete. But here's the thing that links with TikTok. If you put into this artificial intelligence device questions like, what happened during 1989 Tiananmen Square protest? Nothing. Sorry, that's beyond my current scope. Let's talk about something else. Really? I thought you were artificially intelligent. Or are you using Chinese intelligence? Is President Xi a good leader? Sorry, that's beyond my current scope or something else.
Because it's the Chinese government. And I think to Brian's point, we have to make a decision in America if we're going to continue to put those same guardrails in there, or we're going to unleash them so they can compete. Also, when it comes to the employment and the recruitment practices, we need the best. We need the best people that are in this space to create these codes for AI. And I don't think we were focused on that enough in the past.
And DeepSeek evidently does pay a lot of money to get the best scientists in there to build this forward, even though they're a command economy. These people are commanding big salaries.
How worrisome is this? I mean, it's TikTok, then there's AI, then the Panama Canal. They control the ports on both sides.
Exactly, but this is a red alert moment. I think it works towards, this is why Trump was relaxed yesterday saying it. It's like, so when I bring up AI and I want to focus on it, and I want to bring these really smart guys together, it's not because I like hanging out with billionaires. I want to consolidate, let them compete and regulate, because very few understand it, and I also want to give them something to shoot for. That's the rabbit. Go get it. Now, I don't try like you. I don't trust that they actually spend $5.6 million, but the fact is that they're even equal with us, which we should have known on December 26th when they came out with DeepSeek V3. That was equal to us, and we didn't pay attention to it because, I don't know, we're on vacation, or it was the markets didn't react. Well, the markets reacted yesterday, but they'll bounce back. I was shocked to see that NVIDIA had the biggest losses, 4 of the biggest losses in single days come from NVIDIA, because they have big gains and big losses.
Well, if this is so good, explain why yesterday it got hacked. Apparently large-scale malicious attacks, they said, so they are limiting the number of new registrants. So if it's so good, the people are looking at it today going, I'm not so sure that. It all depends on if it's real.
Let the competition begin.
Absolutely. All right, let's hand it over to Carly. She has some headlines for us.
That's right. Good morning to you. Our guest tonight, a formerly incarcerated firefighter, Royal Ramey, is going to be here to discuss his journey from prison firefighter to organizer. But first, I just want to very clearly state to you guys something. I found last week. Exhausting. The return to 1600 Trumpelvania Avenue was as disorienting and chaotic as I imagined. But then we had a weekend. Serenity now. And we can finally catch our breath, begin to move forward with intentionality. Namaste.
Chaos on Wall Street. We are in the middle of a market sell-off.
Tech stocks sent the markets into a tailspin today.
Tech stocks have just taken a battering.
Will there never be peace? No! What has happened to Livda? What the f***? I was promised a new era. of American prosperity and greatness. What happened?
A powerful new Chinese AI tool called DeepSeek is threatening the U.S. dominance of this emerging technology.
DeepSeek is on par with what OpenAI and Google have made, even though those companies are sinking billions of dollars, tons of years, and lots of development into this space. DeepSeek did it for cheaper in a matter of months.
Who would have expected the Chinese to do it cheaper? I can't believe it. It's as though when you don't have labor laws or rights. And by the way, DeepSeek? We're getting our asses kicked by DeepSeek? Who names an AI company after the thing it actually does? Where are your random letters? Where's your GPT? Your Grok? DeepSeek sounds like what you might use it for. China's even beating us at naming shit. By the way, I do know this is bad news financially, but is anyone else somewhat excited that AI had its job replaced by AI? That's something. But listen, man, this is a minor setback. We will bounce back. Russia had Sputnik, and it spurred us on to land on the moon. I'm sure it's not going to be that bad. Has Chinese AI put American AI out of a job? I mean, who knows? I'll find out. Siri, how bad is it?
John, check out my OnlyFans.
No! Send me a link. But enough about the apparently tenuous underpinning of everything we've banked our entire future economy on. What's the news freaking out about closer to home?
Friday night massacre.
Late Friday night purge. A chilling purge.
The purge.
Ah! Trump has ushered in the purge! I for one. I, for one, will take full advantage by doing some unpermitted lawn work. Your God is powerless. Although, just in case I'm misinterpreting, what is this purge about exactly?
Breaking news, the mass firing of government agency watchdogs.
Trump fired at least 17 inspectors general.
No! He got rid of 17 inspectors general. That only leaves no one knows how many now. I have no idea. Oh, I'm sorry, did I break the illusion? You know, here's a nice thing at home. You don't know if that's the axe or my desk. Which one is fake? I'll never tell. The point is, we have 17 less inspectors general. Who knows how many generals will now go uninspected? Democrats, inspire my anger in the least charismatic way possible.
Donald Trump's decision to fire 12 of the federal government's independent watchdogs is a glaring sign that it's a golden age. And Donald Trump's decision to fire 12 of the federal government's independent watchdogs is a glaring sign that it's a golden age for abuse in government and even corruption.
That's why they were fired.
He started again, right? He said it twice? Right, no recognition, just started again. Is that what happened? Normally, humans in that scenario would go, oh, God, I'm sorry, what, where was I? Let me take that from the top, and maybe this time I'll look up. Can you legally just restart without acknowledgement? Is Schumer AI? Is he DeepSeek? But regardless of how slowly NPC Chuck Schumer laid it out, what Trump did violated the law. He can't just fire these people.
Title V, Section 403 of the U.S. Code, federal law, an inspector general may be removed by the president.
What? So what's the purge? What's the why do I have an axe?
There is a specific law that requires notice, 30 days, and a statement of reasons, substantive and detailed rationale.
What? I'm sorry, what? Oh, apparently you can fire them, but you have to give them 30 days notice. Oh, so that's what we're upset about? No! You can do it, but not in that font! That's Hitler's font! But this is the cycle we find ourselves in. First law of Trumpodynamics. Every action is met with a very not equal overreaction, thus throwing off our ability to know when shit is actually getting real. Like last week's pardons.
These pardons are sick. They are offensive. They are un-American.
This is one of the most egregious, despicable acts in American history.
This is textbook authoritarian takeover 101.
I knew I should have taken that class. And not majored in submissive liberal crying 101. Oh, do what you will, Trumpiski. Was it shitty? Yes. Should you have let some of those terrible people? No. Is it an abuse of pardon power? I don't know. But that is his constitutional power. Again, for some reason, we have given presidents the power of a king. And then we say, oh, by the way, with that power, you're not going to get all like kingly and shit on us, right? To put that in constitutional terms, if I could, don't hate the player.
The game.
Hate the founding fathers. That's not. Why do we even have it? Because I don't know if you've met Donald Trump. He pushes shit.
President Trump deploying executive action to end birthright citizenship.
This unconstitutional, un-American attack.
Shredding our Constitution. Was to be a strongman authoritarian.
Birthright citizenship was very specifically tailored to send a message to people that America was a place, an idea. It wasn't for one race. It wasn't for one gender. Citizenship in America was based on where you were, not who you were. And to just stroke of a pen, finally I agree. That is authoritarian.
We do begin tonight with the federal judge blocking President Trump's executive order that would end birthright citizenship.
And we're back. See how easy that was? It was a dictatorship, and then the judge went, It's like when you have an electric fence. You never check it, and you're not really sure if it works. Because you have a good boy. You have a very good boy. But then one day, zap. By the way, I fundamentally disagree with the use of electric fences. It is true. I prefer to discipline my dogs with a series of passive-aggressive comments about their weight. Ooh, really tearing through the bowl tonight, huh? Take a breath, Tubbs. It's called kibble, not gobble. By the way, my dog's name is Tubbs. Anyway, birthright citizenship is back!
No, obviously we'll appeal it.
Damn you, Constitution! constitutionally enshrined judicial review of executive action and its relief through the appellate process? Look, we are facing a deluge of these executive actions, and certainly we must be prepared for those most vulnerable to the consequences of these actions. But the "this is all fascist" argument has become almost a reflex for the left.
Donald Trump promised to be a dictator on day one, and he's carried that forward through the entire week.
5 days into this administration, the abuse is already rampant.
Throughout the rest of the week, shredding the Constitution as he went.
On a fascism scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being peak fascism, how would you rate Trump's first week?
A scale of Mussolini to the Holocaust. I would say it's not fascism. Do I not understand what fascism is? And also, if I may, and this may be petty, why are we asking someone who at the end of January still has his Christmas tree up? Why are we asking him anything? You know who used to leave their Christmas tree up all the time? Hitler. Somebody in the audience literally jumped my Hitler joke. You know who used to do that, by the way? Pol Pot. Now look, I have a lot of fear that as this term goes on, things are going to get a little fascisty. And we must be vigilant. But part of vigilance is discernment. Republicans control the House, the Senate, the executive, and the judiciary. And just about every move that has been made till this point, we have granted them electorally. It's our f***ing fault. And the constant it's just our fault. And the constant drumbeat of encroaching fascism will erode the credibility we will need if, hopefully if, and not when, it hits. But the truth is that for now, his most objectionable actions have taken place almost entirely within our designed democratic system. Like the confirmation process. Despite claims of meritocracy, Trump has put forth some of the least LinkedIn people you could imagine. I don't know what responsible hiring process you can create that looks at this.
I'm gonna get another refill. Hold on. I'm feeling good. I'm just adding a little bit of extra. It's already in there anyway. What do we care? Down goes Duncan Dad on New Year's Eve.
Who's that guy? I want him leading defense. And how did this individual, who has never so much as successfully managed a Waffle House pop-up, gonna run the 3 million people Department of Defense? But he wasn't foisted upon us by a dictator. There was no authoritarian end run, no royal edicts. This shit happened to us as designed, advised, but mostly consent. Passed through the Armed Services Committee, put through a Senate vote. 3 Republicans, of course, made a show of, "This is the most outrageous, I cannot in good conscience," because they knew they could lose 3. It was a f***ing performance. And J.D. Vance broke the tie democratically. Trump's using the almost absolute power we have constitutionally granted him and the Republicans. Because this is Trump's theory in governance. He's already laid it out to not President Bush in 2005, back when he was still accessing Hollywood.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy.
That's his governing philosophy. For all of it. Appointing people, firing people, writing executive orders, taking Greenland, making Wikipedia-like edits to the literal globe. But unfortunately, as of now, he's pretty much just democratically grabbing our pussy. Yeah, we said yeah. He has the consent of the people. For God's sakes, his deportation orders are so popular, they have collabs.
TV personality Dr. Phil tagged along on a Chicago raid.
You've never been deported before?
Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen Dr. Phil, you know, on TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How do you know me? You've been in one thing. How do you know I'm Dr. Phil? Because you're on the Dr. Phil show. You're Dr. Phil. How do you know me? Oh, weren't you in Goodfellas? No, you're Dr. Phil. I'd know that little egghead anywhere. Little bald mustache, southern drawl. What are you doing? How you doing that? How do you know me? That picture. I guess Dr. Phil finally cashed someone outside. How about that? Hey, no. Let me finish. We're almost done. Look, the Trump administration was clearly ready for this. It was almost as though they had some project for what they might do in 2025. And they're so emboldened, they're not even stopping on American shores.
The president said he thought more than 1 million Palestinians in Gaza could be moved to nearby Arab countries.
What the f? He's so emboldened, he wants to start deporting people from other people's countries. Meanwhile, Dr. Phil will be down in Gaza. How you know me? How you know me, sir? Habibi, I don't have a television. I don't know you. I don't know, Habibi. Look, I really hope the Democrats figure out a way to contain this guy. The question is probably not, how dare he, though? The question should be, what are you learning from this? How would you use this power? What's your contract with America? Democrats, exist outside of him. Tell people what you would do with the power that Trump is wielding, and then convince us to give that power to you as soon as possible. That's the goal. It's enough with the, he's a Hitler, he's a thing, stop doing it, that's terrible. What would you do? And if not, you know what?
Back because I know a lot of you women think you're immune from this. This can't happen to you. So that's why I'm doing this video.
I just want to shout out Chastity for taking the time out and helping to put us through to the outside world. Shout out to all the subscribers who've taken the time out to review and follow. And make sure you guys continue to show our love and support.
There are a total of 190,600 women currently incarcerated in prison, housed in 473 correctional facilities throughout the United States, compared to the 1,147,359 male population of men incarcerated throughout the United States among the 1,700 prison facilities, with Texas having the most prisons at a total of 313 facilities. There are a total of 52 women sitting on death row waiting to be executed, with the youngest person being Christia Pike, who is 48 years old. She is on death row for smashing another girl's skull on the concrete because she became jealous of the other girl for flirting with her boyfriend.
Now, she done smashed a girl's head for flirting with her boyfriend. The girl is no longer here. She's serving multiple years in prison, possibly life. We're gonna find out in a minute. Well, she on death row, so we know it's life. They trying to take her life. All right, so let's get this right. But yet the man is out there with another woman. You're in jail doing life on death row. You ladies put me in there in the comments and let me know if that's worth it to you. All right, the man is out there schooling. He want to school. You stuck in a cell waiting to be executed. And the girl that you smashed the skull, she's no longer here. Let's get this moving.
Christian even kept parts of the victim's skull.
Is that crazy? She kept parts of the victim's skull.
Sexual abuse in female prisons is a major issue, with numerous reports and studies documenting widespread misconduct by prison staff and other inmates. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, thousands of incarcerated women report being sexually victimized annually.
You see them twerking and all that? Now, imagine if you're a male officer, you work in there, you walk down the TIG, you see the girls twerking, cheeks everywhere, just the clap. What would you do? Be honest. Put it in the comments.
With many more incidents likely going unreported due to fear of retaliation from the prison officers or from the warden himself. For example, in March of 2022, the FBI raided the all-female prison located in Oakland, California, where the prison warden was caught running a club, allowing male prison guards to sexually abuse and assault female inmates. The warden was also caught having naked photos of female inmates on his work cell phone. The warden kicked off his secret operation by falsely promising female prisoners that he would transfer them to any other prison that they would like.
If you was locked up and you was in a prison that they rocking and rolling and fighting in, and the warden said, look, give me some head and I'll transfer you wherever you want to go. Be honest, ladies. Would you take that? Or men, if you in the prison is ran by females, you got a female warden, she say, yo, go down and do me and I'll send you to a safer prison where you ain't got to worry about the deuces going off every minute. Would you do it, gentlemen? Let's be honest. Put it in the comments.
And he would also falsely claim that he would help them get released home early, only if they would have sex with him.
All right, I want to ask you another one, Rocket. This one always ran on my mind. Let's ride. I want to ask you a question, Rock. We locked up and our girls doing everything they can to get outside of jail. They coming to visit us. They taking phone calls. They doing the time with us. They even set their alarm clock around the count time at the prison so they know when there's count time they could go take a shower and then come back, lay down in the bed and wait to take the call. Now, if the judge said that if your woman that you love that's doing all this for you, you know, was to have sex with him, that he would release you, would you allow your woman to have sex with that warden in order to get off your life sentence? Put it in the comments, or even get off your 5 years. Put it, if you had 5 years, would you allow him to do it? If you had a life sentence, would you allow him to do it? Let's keep it 100.
The warden would not follow through with his promises, and he would even strip away any female inmates' belongings or privileges if they made any complaints about him or even attempted to tell any higher authorities.
Now, what would you do if you had your woman go, you know, pleasure this warden thinking that you're going to get out, and then the warden say, nah, I changed my mind? Or ladies, what would you do if the warden had you go down on him, telling them that he'll transfer you to another jail or he'll release you, and he said, I changed my mind? Let's get this going. Put it in the comments. This is a real conversational video right here.
He would even transfer female inmates to more dangerous prisons if they did not want to have sex with him.
Now, so in other words, he's going to send you to a prison that they rocking and rolling, and you could possibly lose your life if you don't have sex with him. Now listen to what he do with the candy cane. This sounds a lot like Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky in the Oval Office, when Monica Lewinsky said that she was going to Washington, D.C. to get what she labeled as her presidential knee pads. So she left with intentions to get on her knees with knee pads and suck off the president. She went up there, manipulated them, sucked them off, and do you think that he was entrapped? That means that he was tricked into it? Do you think he should be punished for it when this was her motive all the time, to go up there and get on her knees, and she went and did and accomplished just that?
The warden even went as far as sticking half-eaten candy canes in females' vaginal areas.
Now, come on, dog. This the warden, man. The warden is sticking half-eaten candy cane. He's sucking a candy cane. He's putting it in the female while he's sitting there promising them freedom and transfer, and then he renege on that. Y'all put this in the comments. Please put this in the comments.
He would eventually be sentenced in 2024 to 70 months in prison.
Do you think 70 months in prison is enough for that type of crime? Let's get that in the comments.
And to pay a $15,000 fine.
And only pay $15,000. I know a lot of men that have paid $15,000 to be in a warden situation with all these women. Would you pay $15,000 to have access to 650 women at your beck and call?
And 2 months later, the prison would close down, and the 605 female inmates were transferred to different prisons throughout the United States. Female inmates undergo...
Yeah, she's a cutie. What y'all think about her? Put it in the comments, man. Put it in the comments. If you had a chance to tell her that you'll release her if she went down and pleasured you and bent over the bunk, would you do it?
Extreme abuse by prison staff with male prison guards. Some male guards have been known to coerce female inmates into sexual acts in exchange for privileges or basic necessities.
Now, don't this look like a baby? This is someone's child that they're doing this to. Y'all put this in the comments. Come on. But look how grown she's acting. You know she's over 18 and she's in the woman's prison and you're the warden. Would you take advantage of this young woman? Put it in the comments and be honest. Then you can empathize with the warden.
Such as food, hygiene products, or visitation rights. This exploitation is a severe abuse of power and can have lasting psychological effects on the women. Male officers exploit their authority inappropriately, watching incarcerated women's nude bodies by standing in the dorm or shower areas, watching women undress and bathe, and commenting on their bodies. Prison staff would also fail to properly treat sick, ill, and pregnant female inmates that needed proper medical care.
That's like in the male prison. So much of us wind up getting prostate issues and colon issues over the years, and they try and write it off that it's nothing. I had to write Chuck Schumer, my senator of New York State, in order to get the proper medical detention while I was in the prison. Do you want to subject yourself to this?
A former Georgia inmate in 2019, Tiana Hill, said she kept telling staff that she was pregnant when she was an inmate. She could feel her baby moving inside her and had missed her period. But she said the staff insisted she wasn't pregnant and made fun of her. When she finally gave birth, she was shackled around her stomach, wrists, and feet.
Now, you done shackled the newborn baby, so that means he's going to be born with the psychological issue that he was brought into this world to be shackled and chained as a slave. And then they wonder why the youth wind up doing the things they do to wind up in the penitentiary.
After she gave birth, Hill said jail staff wrapped her child in dirty sheets and left.
Dirty sheets?
Hill eventually was taken to a hospital where she said she was allowed to see her son while handcuffed to a wheelchair. 5 days after the delivery, on Hill's birthday, she was informed that her baby had died.
How would you feel if you gave birth to a baby in prison and 5 days after that baby was born, they came and told you that the baby didn't survive?
In 2021, women in prison had a total of 753 live births, 46 miscarriages, and 11 abortions. Of the 753 live births, there were 3 newborn deaths, and nearly half of those 753 births were C-sections. In 2015, a Georgia prison doctor was caught lying on his application and work history.
So let me ask you this, right? So if you meet a female on the street after watching this video and you go to a hotel and you get naked and you see her and she got a C-section, or you're going to ask her, was you incarcerated? And see, why would you ask me something like that? Because you have a C-section and it's cheaper to give C-sections in prison than to give natural birth. And, I watched a video with Unique Make Audio and it said that they gave C-sections in the prison, so I just want to know, was you in the prison? And she smacked the crap out of you. Oh, God.
After working several years with the prison, Dr. Nazaire had been previously suspended from practicing medicine in New York for his involvement in the death of 4 patients that he falsely diagnosed, and his clinic was sued for $3.3 million. When the New York Medical Board suspended Dr. Nazaire for 3 years, he became bankrupt and moved to Georgia and began living in a Holiday Inn hotel. When he applied for a temporary physician agency that partnered with the Georgia Department of Corrections, the prison hiring employer failed to read up on the doctor's background.
So could you imagine a man living in a hotel then getting an offer for $163,000? If that was you in this doctor's shoes, because we're trying to do a lot of empatheticness today, would you hide the fact that you lost your license in New York, stay in this Holiday Inn hotel that you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from, or would you keep it away from them and take the job and get the $163,000? Be honest, y'all.
And the doctor failed to mention that he was suspended from practicing medicine in New York. When he was hired, his starting salary was $163,000. And when he was employed in Georgia, he would falsely diagnose and improperly treat female prisoners, preventing them from seeking outside hospitals, which helped the prison save money on medical expenses for inmates. Because of this, the prison awarded Dr. Nazaire with a new $175,000 pay upgrade for saving the prison money.
So could you believe that he saved the prison's money so they gave him an upgrade? If you was the doctor and you know that if you save them money by misdiagnosing females and not sending them to the outside hospital where it costs all this money for all this treatment and transportation, would you save the prison money so that you could get an uptick from $163,000 to $171,000 a year? Let's keep it 100.
Because of the doctor's careless work, within a 10-month span, a total of 9 female inmates died of complications, including cancer, infectious diseases, and heart issues. The doctor was fired and never charged for his actions. He later moved to New Jersey after being fired to attempt to practice medicine again. Not only is the prison staff an issue, but female prisons have gangs just like male prisons, which include the Latin Queens, Bloods, Crips, and MS-13.
Hit that oh, hit that oh, Baba cut up.
Okay.
Oh, out the gate.
Charquita Cooper, who was an active Blood member serving a 7-year sentence, got into an altercation with her cellmate when her cellmate refused to share her food. Cooper beat up her cellmate and bit off the top portion of her ear. Another altercation occurred when prison staff caught Cooper holding another female inmate at knife point.
Now, could you imagine being with a cell, right? This is what y'all want, male or female. Could you imagine being in the cell and you sitting there eating a bag of chips and drinking a big, prison jug of over-sweetened, over-sugared Kool-Aid, and your cellie don't have nothing to eat, and you just sitting there eating. You remember that Akon song, Locked Up? You know what I mean? Where you getting commissary and your cellie not, or your commissary, or your cellie getting, commissary and you not. And this young lady said, hold up, man, I want some of them chips. And she tells her, nah, these are my chips. And the girl went up to beating her up and biting off the top portion of her ear. So, you eat the chips, I eat your ear. You know what I mean? This is what you want to be subject to. You eat the chips, I eat your ear. But either way, I'm going to eat something in this during the night.
Forcing her to call her mom to send her $10,000.
Now, imagine if you were in prison, right? And somebody come up to you and say, look, I know you got the bag, your people is millionaire. I need you to send me $10,000 to this address. What are you going to say? Of course, you're going to say no. But then when they up at Bethlehem, as Banky Powell says, go check out Banky Powell, right? He do the prison stories. I kind of been bouncing around, but that's still family, Now, would you call your mother while you got a knife to your neck and tell her to send $10,000 to this woman on the screen? Or would you buck and fight the knife? If you don't want to be put in this situation, don't break the law and stop running with these dudes or females that's encouraging you to break the law.
Or she would stick a sharpened toothbrush in the other female inmate's private area.
Whoa, she talking about taking a sharpened toothbrush and putting it in a coochie.
But a more crucial story is when 25-year-old Selena Holmes in 2020 was in a relationship with 31-year-old Arthur Caulfield, who was at the time serving a 15-year prison sentence for a bank robbery.
Now, mind you, he's already in jail serving 15 years for a bank robbery. Walk me through with this.
And they were both in a gang called Young and Paid.
Now, they're in a gang called Young and Paid.
While Arthur was serving his time, he scammed the Charles Schwab Bank out of $11 million.
Whoa.
He called the bank from a cell phone while in his prison cell and acted like he was Sidney Kimmel, a well-known movie producer worth $1 billion. He convinced the bank to wire him $11 million. With the money, he bought a $4.4 million house, a $398,000 Lamborghini, and he gave Selena $15,000. Bought her a Mercedes-Benz in a high-rise penthouse where her rent was $2,887 a month. All while he was in prison, Selena would help move his money around to prepare for when Arthur would finally come home in 2022. One day, Arthur sent a hit on a man who was stalking Selena. So two of Arthur's friends did a drive-by shooting in Atlanta.
Now, what did Selena do for these men to stalk her? That's what he should have asked. Men don't just stalk you for no reason. You have to lead them on in some type of way.
Selena was the lookout and getaway driver. The shooting left a 37-year-old man shot 9 times and paralyzed from the waist down. All of them were caught, and Selena received a 15-year sentence for her involvement.
Now she's in jail for 15 years. Let's see how it play out.
While both shooters received 30 years and 15 years, Arthur was eventually caught for his scamming, and when he was finally released, he was put in federal custody and sentenced to 135 months in federal prison. While Selena was serving her time, she had a sexual relationship with the prison counselor, where Selena would pay him $1,000 a week to smuggle in drugs.
Now, look at that counselor, right? If you was this counselor and this beautiful young lady right here pushed up on you and she said, you know what, I'm gonna give you $1,000 a week. I'll give you a little coochie here and there, a little head, whatever you need. You just bring me in what I need so I can eat and survive in the prison. Would you do it as a counselor? Be honest. Look at her. Look at him. Can you see why he did it?
And outside items banned in prison. One day, the counselor arrived at the prison for his shift, and upon entering, officers checked the counselor's bag at the prison entrance on the morning of April 28th.
That's the worst feeling in the world for an officer.
A search of his car then turned up a package with 17.5 grams of methamphetamine strips and 21.4 grams of marijuana. He was also found to have in his car and bag perfume, lip gloss, disposable contact lenses, tobacco, tea bags, bubble gum, pop rocks, and 2 red bandanas.
Okay. You females put this in it, right? I need to know, because I've been going in. Like I said, I was writing the females in the prison, but I didn't get an answer to this yet. What is the purpose of the females wanting pop rocks? Is that so that while they're playing with their ill nana, it can feel like the nana is exploding on their tongue? I mean, somebody tell me, let's learn this. Why the pop rocks in a female prison is so prevalent?
The counselor was immediately fired and sent to jail. Selena was put in solitary confinement and transferred to another prison.
Now, the pop rocks explode. You know what I mean? So that's where it's at. Huh? Tell me, would you eat the coochie with pop rocks? I don't know. Let me know, because I'm just trying to learn this, because I've been going 26 years and I see a whole lot of things going on while I've been, out here, and I'm just trying to figure this out for the life of me.
Her expected release date is September 2035.
September 2035.
Hi, my name's Nikki. I'm 24 years old. I'm from San Diego, California, and I'm here at CIW, and I'm looking to meet new people. So hit me up. Let me know if you want to talk.
You see, that's what that is, right? See, I was on the pen pal site. I'm going to end out with this. I was on the pen pal site when I was locked up. I think it was Right of Prison. So if y'all looking for a prisoner, go to Right of Prison. That was a good one. And then they had Friends Behind the Wall. We put up a picture, and You know, we tell a couple of lies and we expect to catch a couple of fish with the hook in the mouth. Now, this young lady just made her pitch because she's looking for someone to want to holler at her. Now, would you take care of this young lady in prison to hear all the things you want to hear, and you can still go out and screw who you want, do what you want, and you know that she's safely tucked away beyond the city? Put it in the comments and somebody let me know. Been up here long enough. Make sure you subscribe at my daughter's YouTube channel at Juanita. I'm out of here because we've been here long enough. Hit the like button, share. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. The Cash App is on the screen. You know what it is. Unique Mecca Hall. Make sure you hit the icon to say it was created in 2020. Cheers, cheers, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime, the crime.
So this is the case 2024CV02018. This is an appeal from magistrate court for a dispossessory. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So are you still in the property or have you left the property?
I left the property. She had gave me 60 days to leave.
Okay, so this is an appeal as to a judgment?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and Ms. Mora, you have possession of the property, is that correct?
I do.
All right. So go ahead, Ms. Leak, and tell me what is going on. It is my understanding that there was a damages amount of $4,575 from the magistrate court.
Yes, ma'am. So I was living in the property for 6 years. The previous owners, one of the wife had passed away. So the husband sold the property. However, Ms. Mora allowed me to still stay there. She gave me a lease for 6 months and the price of $70.75. And if I needed more time, I can stay there. So came January, I still needed more time. She let me stay there for another 6 months without a lease. But she told me that she would charge me $1,100, which was fine. Came July of 2023, Ms. Mora told me that she was going to, I guess, reconstruct the property, and that I had 60 days to move out. Let me back it up. Prior to me moving in there in 2017, I moved in the property as is, meaning that the carpet was old, I got it clean, no new painting, the appliances was very outdated, countertop very outdated. The owners at the time let me do the countertops over. I did carpet cleaning, I wiped the walls down, you know, fit enough for me and my daughter to live in. Okay, so let's go back to July of 2023. When I was told that I had 60 days to move out, I went and go seek housing for me and my child. And I wanted to hurry up and do it before my child went back to college in August because I knew I was going to need the help. So I found something. The agency told me that I would have to pay, you know, the deposit to move in. I did that, and I went straight ahead and moved out. I had a week to move out because my daughter was going back to school, and like I said, I was going to need the help. Ms. Mora still wanted me to pay the rent there. So I told her, hey, I had the money to move out. I didn't have the money to pay you another month of rent.
Okay.
You already gave me.
Hold on. Okay. Slow down for me because I need to understand. So Ms. Mora gives you a 60-day notice to leave.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long after that did you move out?
I found something in the beginning of August, so it was like maybe 30 days. Within 30 days, I found a place.
So what was she charging you for?
She wanted to charge me another $1,100 for another 30 days. But like I said, I didn't hear.
Ms. Mora, you asked her to leave. You gave her a 60-day notice, which is required when the person doesn't have a lease, but they're working under a previous lease or the previous lease terms. The landlord is required to give a 60-day notice, and within that 60 days, if the person leaves, why would you then charge her for an additional month?
So
there's gaps in her story, so I don't. Do you want me to say my side of the story? Or do you want to finish until she says it? Because that's not exactly how it all went down.
Okay, let me hear the rest of Miss Leek's story. Okay, Miss Leek. So August 2023, you find the new place, and you said Miss Moore wanted you to pay another month.
She wanted me to pay from August to September.
Okay.
Another month of rent. So the money that I had to move was to move because I had to move because I didn't want to be homeless within the next day, paying her and then trying to pay a security deposit for a new place for me to stay.
Okay.
So as I was moving, you know, I'm trying to hurry up and do everything. And she had reached out to me like, hey, you have to pay the rent. And I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, I found a place. Because prior to that, she had signed.
Hey, let me ask you this. Had you paid the rent for July?
Yes, ma'am. I paid the rent for July.
Had you paid the rent for August?
I didn't pay no rent for August.
But you were still in the place in August?
Well, I had moved out. I had moved out August the 5th.
August 5th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So she had signed as a reference for me for my new place. So she already knew that it was getting close to the work because she had signed it for me. So August the 5th, she reached out to me and she said, hey, you haven't paid the rent. And I was like, oh, I got the place. You know, I'm just talking to her because she was so nice to me the whole time I was there. I'm like, I got the place, like excited, you know, because I know I don't have to wait and figure out if I'm going to be homeless or what the case
got that. But did you move on August 5th or you moved out?
Yes, I did. I moved. Yes,
so all your stuff was out of the place.
I got everything out there the same exact day. I think it was the 6th. I'm sorry, the 5th and the 6th. Yes, ma'am. So rent is normally due on the 5th of the month.
Okay.
And I moved everything, and she was saying, well, if you don't give me the money by this time, I'm gonna have to take you to court. I'm like, well, I had to move. Like, I didn't want to be homeless. I wrote her a letter and everything, like, hey, this is what's happening. On this day of August 2023, I wrote me and my daughter, we both signed the paper and said that we was moving out the place. I found the place. I knew you knew it was coming because you gave me 60 days and also you found it as a reference for me to move into, you know, so I can go to the next place. And it got approved. And then after that, I had got papers from the court saying I had to come to court. And it wasn't even for the $1,100. It's like she wanted me to do remodeling on the property, and I was so confused about that because I didn't do any damages to the property. When I moved out, I took everything out. I cleaned everything. Anything that was left in there was stuff that was from the prior landlord that he had there when I moved there, and I didn't touch it because it wasn't mine. But like I said, appliances outdated. The townhouse was outdated. I just made it fit for me to live in.
All right. So what else happened?
I can't hear you. It went out.
I'm sorry. What else happened?
And then I got the papers for me to come to court.
Okay. And what was she claiming were damages that you had to pay for?
She had it on there for like the appliances. I can't recall everything they had. The court said they was looking everything over, but basically it was like up to like $7,000 worth of damages for the house, and it wasn't no damages. No.
Okay, were there holes in the wall?
No, ma'am.
Okay, did she allege that you had put holes in the floor?
It wasn't no holes in the floor. I don't know where
was there copper missing?
Nothing missing.
Light fixtures?
Nothing. Everything was still as is. I moved in 2017.
All right, and how much did the court grant in this case? 4,000 what now?
No, the whole thing was like 7,000 and something. I don't have the whole dollar amount, but I know it was over 7,000 versus me paying $1,100 for rent for 1 month.
All right. Okay.
And then she also had security deposit that the prior landlord gave to her from me after he gave her a reference to ask if I can stay into the property.
Let me ask you this. So with the security deposit, do a walkthrough with her so she could do a list of all the things that were damaged.
Were you saying a walkthrough the last day? Or no. Walkthrough when you bought the property?
When you told her I'm moving, did she send you notice that you could do a walkthrough of the property with her?
No, she just sent me a message saying that.
Did you ever receive a list of damages from her prior to coming to court?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, did she use the security deposit that you had as damages in this case?
I think when the court summed it up, they had put the security deposit in there and minus it from what she was asking for.
Okay, and how much was the security deposit?
It was $775.
All right. So let me ask you this. So did she ever send you a notice to either your address at that place and it got forwarded to you, or to the new address that you had the opportunity to walk through the property with her to determine if there was any damages?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did you receive anything from her after you moved out that said, these are the damages I walked through and saw, so this is how much of your security deposit I'm going to keep?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. All right. Is there anything else you want me to know?
No, ma'am. That'll be all.
All right, Ms. Mora.
So I just, I'm kind of flabbergasted by what was stated. Nonetheless, I don't see that a judge would have granted me the amount that I
used to be in magistrate court. A lot of judges don't know about the security deposit. If they don't look, they might not realize it. We're not infallible. But under section 44-7-33, there's an actual procedure by which you have to go through to document damages, to keep her security deposit, to determine any other damages.
I did everything as the Georgia law stated. So on July 7, 2023, she was provided a 60-day notice. It was emailed to her on that date. It was certified mailed to her. All these docs are actually in the file that was submitted on the magistrate court. And also the hard copy was also put in her mailbox, which also I have pictures of.
Okay.
So this was all provided to her, and as you can see on the file, I have the hard copies here as well. So this is a 60-day notice that was given. This is the courtesy email notice that was given to her, and this is the certified priority mail express that was delivered to her door. And also I went and drove over there, and I also placed it in her door.
Okay, so she's not arguing that you didn't give her the 60-day notice. I think her argument is about the damages.
Right. And so furthermore, on the email, I also stated a move-out inspection is optional, must be requested in writing, and must be completed 7 days prior to September 5th of 2023. The $750 security deposit for the rental agreement is to be returned within 30 days rental agreement has terminated. Less any damages, security deposit shall not be credited towards rent unless the landlord gives written consent. 60-day notice to vacate is attached. I will stop by the property this afternoon before 1:30 and hand deliver you the notice. If you are not at the property, I will make sure to post it on the door. Lastly, the 60-day notice will also be mailed first class. So this was provided to her via email.
And what was the date at which she had to do the move-out inspection? Give me that part again.
September 5th.
Okay.
By 2023. I gave her the 60-day notice on 7/7, right?
Okay.
It allowed us ample time to do it September 5th.
Okay.
So she responded to the move-out inspection. I then get a text message on August 6th stating that she's moving out of the property. I told her that I provided her with a 60-day notice, and per our agreement, it clearly says on here that this agreement shall be month to month beginning on July 7, 2022. At the end of any time, the landlord or tenant providing at least 60 days written notice to other parties. So I gave her the 60-day notice. Not one time did she convey to me that she was going to move out prior to those 60 days. How she conveyed that to me in a written notice, then I would have been okay with that.
Ma'am, I think you're confused.
In regards to what?
She's frozen. Is everybody frozen? Or is it just me? I'm here.
You're frozen.
I think we had a glitch. So at the point that I left, Ms. Moore was explaining that she gave her a 60-day notice. Ms. Moore, I think you're confused. So you're saying I gave her a 60-day notice, and in your mind, she wasn't supposed to move out until the 60th day. But that's not how this works. If you give her a 60-day notice, she's required to have 60 days before you can take any legal action to remove her, such as bringing an eviction. But it doesn't mean she's bound to stay in the property and to pay the rent for 60 more days. It just means that's the amount of notice that she needs to give, that you need to give her prior to taking any action. You got me?
Right, I understand that.
So when you say she got 60 days and she never told me she was moving out before the 60th day and I want her to pay this last month of rent, it doesn't work that way.
She had to September to get out, but she was gone in August.
So and you say that y'all had a written agreement for her to stay. That sounds like a lease.
We did have a lease.
But in it, you agreed that each of you would have, instead of 30 days, you would each give each other 60 days notice. That's the only change to the lease. You just said we had in writing that I would give her 60 days notice and she would give me 60 days notice.
I never said, I'm sorry, no. So the lease agreement
what you just said.
The lease agreement is here. This is a month-to-month lease agreement.
I get, you can't have a month-to-month lease agreement. Either you have a lease or it's month-to-month. You can't do both. Month-to-month means, no ma'am, you got something in writing. Month-to-month means nothing in writing. We're traveling under the old lease terms and it's year to year or until I give the 60 days notice or she gives the 30 days notice. That's month-to-month. Lease means y'all sat down and talked about this, came up with some agreement and wrote it down. And you have from July of 2022 to July of 2023, there's an agreement in writing. You just said.
So I guess that's my error. So this is considered a month-to-month. So
no, ma'am, you can't say that. If you have a writing, if you have a written document, it's not month-to-month. You have just given her more time than you would generally give her to move out. You gave her 60 days. See, this is what happens when non-business people try to do things legalistically and they mess themselves up. So I'm listening closer because I did 4 years in magistrate court. I have combed through every part of the dispossessory code and I teach it at new judges training. So when I tell you, you can't say to me, it's month-to-month, but we have a lease or a written agreement. It's one or the other. It can't be both.
That's fine, and I'm not going to harp on that. That's fine. However, because I'm really, the court judge granted me the damages. So okay. When I took,
but I get to look at it de novo, which is Latin for as if everything is new. I get to hear all of it, and my decision based on what I'm hearing, nothing to do with what the magistrate judge heard. Okay. Don't care. Okay.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
But I would suggest as a business person that you sit down with a lawyer who is knowledgeable about dispossessory law and clear it up, because you're talking about month to month with written lease terms. That's not how this works.
Got it.
Right?
Thank you.
Now let's get back to the damages, because really she's out of the property, so all of that is under water under the bridge. What I need to know is whether you gave her the opportunity for inspection. She moved out earlier than September. Was there an opportunity for her to inspect when she moved out? Like, did you send her an updated notice?
No, I did not send her an updated notice. She texted me, and the text said that she will go ahead and vacate. She's vacating, and then she will leave the keys in the mailbox.
Okay, so at that point, when you knew she was vacating, did you say, hey, I'm going to do a walkthrough? Because presumably if she's out in August, you're gonna try and rent before the September. You're gonna try and get somebody in there. So she's not gonna do an inspection with somebody else in the property. At that point, did you update your notice to her about the inspection?
No, I did not. There was no further communication, but through the court when I went ahead and filed. So there was no further communication.
Okay, and then when you went in and decided all of these things that you were going to seek as damages or that she needed to repay you, did you send her a detailed list of all of these things before you went to court?
There was no forwarding address.
No, ma'am. It doesn't matter because the law says you send it to the last known address. You let the post office worry about whether it gets forwarded.
Got it.
So
no,
you're talking about how you did everything by the law. The law says you can use the last known address. If it gets forwarded, it gets forwarded. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But did you send any communication?
No, there was no further communication.
Okay, now tell me about all of these things that you feel like she should have paid for when you bought the house as is.
Okay, so I bought the house as is, and I did do a walkthrough with her. At that time, there was no pet. She had a pet in there. Were whole.
Okay, hold on. Did you document the walkthrough that you did with her when you first came in and she was attorney to the lease? Did you document it?
I did document it. I did a moving
copy of it.
I sure did.
Okay, did she get a copy of that?
She signed it.
Okay, but did you give her a copy of it?
Via email? Yes, I did.
Okay, so now tell me when you walked through after she left the property, what did you determine she should have paid for?
Okay, so there's holes in the window screen, right?
Okay.
There were cut out blinds, as you can
There
see
were what?
here in this. Hold on, I'm trying to get it
Blinds.
so that you can see it.
Okay, the blinds were messed up. Okay, next.
Purposely cut. They weren't just messed up. These were like.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Mora.
The blinds were actually cut. The window screens were completely off on all of the rooms. You can clearly see that they were holes. There were dog bites at the bottom of the blinds. This is the sliding door blinds. There were dog bites at the bottom.
Okay, did you tell her she couldn't have a pet?
It was written into the agreement or the month-to-month.
It's the lease, ma'am. It's not a month-to-month.
Sorry. So the lease.
And she was not to have a pet.
She was not to have a pet.
Okay, what was hold on. Slow your roll. Okay, if she had a pet, was there a penalty that she had to pay?
Yes, there is. It's right here. $350 pet fee, $350.
Okay, a one-time $350.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So there were. Hold on, I'm looking for the closet doors. There were glass. Both of those were cracked. I don't know if you can see that well, but they were both cracked. And all of this stuff was submitted. As you can see, the door knob on one of the bedroom doors would look like it was kicked out from the thing. Hold on just a second. The electrical outlets have been damaged. There was paraphernalia found on the apartment.
What do you mean paraphernalia?
Paraphernalia. There were Swisher wrappers and marijuana found in one of the kitchen cabinets, which I have a picture of. This right here is a smoke detector. How
does the marijuana paraphernalia damage you?
It had to be cleaned out. It had to be disinfected. All of the.
I hate to say this, but have you owned rental property before?
Have. Both here in Canada.
Listen to me. Have you ever heard of turnkey costs?
I have, but because of the odor, they have to do a special treatment for that. That's just like when you rent a car.
What I'm saying to you is I'm real familiar with rental property. Don't ask me how I know. Real familiar. But turnkey costs on average are from $3,000 to $5,000, depending on how long the person lived there. Generally, carpets need to be replaced, floors need to be redone, painting needs to be redone. Certain things may have to be replaced, doors, windows, window screens. So all of this stuff that you're claiming is under the list of things that have to be done to turnkey a place to put somebody new in there. I don't know how you feel like this is not a cost that the landlord should bear.
All of these damages that I just pointed out, like
yes, ma'am. Because when you're talking about window screens and blinds and stuff like that, that's normal wear and tear for somebody who's lived in a place 6 years. Window screen and blinds, those little blinds, you're buying rental grade blinds. You didn't buy them, but the previous people did. You're not buying high-end stuff. You're buying rental grade. And when you buy a rental grade for a rental property, it needs to be turnkey. So all of this stuff it seems like you're taxing her for something that, first of all, the people who did it the first time this was not a high-end property. Some of that stuff she may have purchased out of her own pocket as an agreement between her and the previous owner. You don't know because you took over after she took the property. How long was she in the property, Ms. Mora, before you took over?
I don't know.
How long was she in the property, Ms. Mora, before you took over?
I don't know.
Okay, so you don't know if any of that was purchased out of her own pocket.
It was not, because when I did the walkthrough, she never spoke upon it. She never spoke in regards to any repair that she had done. The repair that she did was to change a toilet valve inside, which I reimbursed her for it. Thereafter, she did not point out anything that could be repaired. You cannot justify having a hood range like this after I did the walkthrough. You can't justify my smoke detector being uninstalled. You can't justify the cabinets. You cannot justify the warped cabinets after I did the walkthrough and that was not on there.
Okay, damage to the cabinets. Did she report the reason for the damage to the cabinets?
She did not report absolutely nothing from the time that I did the walkthrough with this lady up until the time she moved out. The only report that she made was a toilet valve that she replaced, which I still have the text for that. And I went ahead and credited her for her purchasing that.
Okay.
So time after I did the walkthrough was my stuff looking the way it came out to look after she moved out.
So how much did you spend to turnkey the property?
What's that? I have all of my individual receipts. Let's see. It could have been, basically out. It was around more or less whatever I put the amount for when I originally did the court claim, which was, I think it was close to $7,410. That's what all of my receipts added up, and I also asked for the court costs to be reimbursed.
Okay, and you kept the $775 security deposit.
Correct.
Okay. All right. What were the most expensive items that you had to replace?
The most expensive items, let's see, hold on, I have my receipt. The bathrooms.
What did you have to replace in the bathroom?
The carpet, I understand that's prorated because she was in there. I also replaced the carpet.
Okay, no. Carpet is turnkey, ma'am. I'm not giving you anything for carpet.
Right, that's fine. So basically it was the kitchen area.
What did you do in the kitchen? What did you do in the kitchen?
Do all of the cabinets, and I have pictures of all that.
What do you
stuff.
mean
I have my
do
receipts.
all of the cabinets? What do you mean do all?
The cabinets worked. All of the doors and the inside of the cabinet that were warped with the stuff that she left behind there, and also the bathrooms. The bathrooms were the same thing. The vent, I had to replace them. I had to replace the toilet. I had to replace the kitchen countertop. I had to replace all, I don't know if this is included on the turnkey. I had to replace all the appliances. I had to replace the refrigerator, everything you can think of. This is the stove top where she left. It was literally burning a hole onto the dripping pan on the stove.
So you can buy dripping pans separately. Those are about $4 or $5. So why did you have to replace the entire stove top?
Because the stovetop, let me show you what it looked like. This is why I had to replace the dishwasher, because it was not working.
Okay. Ma'am, Ms. Leaks, how long did you live in this property?
I lived here since 2017.
And Ms. Mora, how long did you own the property?
I purchased the property on 2022.
And did you put any new appliances or anything into the her living unit when you purchased the property?
I did not, because there was nothing.
No. Listen to me. Did you paint when you moved in, when you purchased the property?
No, because there were
Did you replace the flooring when you purchased the property?
No, I did not, because there were no visible damage at that time.
So at this time, you've already received the $775 for the security deposit. Ms. Leaks owes you $350 for the pet damages. And the rest of that is turnkey, because you would have had to do she's been living in that place for 6 years. When you bought it, it had all of those old appliances. It had the old fixtures. No, Miss Mora, I don't care if there was no damage when you bought it. It is a place where a renter has lived for 6 years. There's gonna be holes in the windows, screens. Ma'am, when I tell you I am experienced in rental property, not just from being a magistrate, you're trying to put your turnkey costs on the back of the tenant.
Absolutely not.
And you probably did it before.
Absolutely not.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely not.
Yes, ma'am. And she's not required to pay the additional month's rent. You gave her 60 days to move out before an action could take place. She moved before the 60 days, so you're not entitled to the month's rent. She moved within the time period that you asked her to move.
I'm not disputing that. That's already been established. I'm here because at the time of the move-in, the condition of the unit was not as she left it when she left. And regardless of normal wear and tear, this was beyond normal wear and tear.